want to make sure that we reinforce the importance of investing in infrastructure. And specifically, when you do a side-by-side comparison of our nation relative to the rest of the industrialized world, we spend an awful lot of money on defense. And while there are efforts to advocate for a $20 billion annual investment in a nationwide high-speed rail network, that is only 12 days worth of defense spending. We lead the world in defense spending with $600.4 billion a year annually, spending about the same as the next giant 14 nations combined.
Can he be on my
The only thing that I would recommend in there is maybe not to do that side-by-side comparison, because if you happen to be in somebody's office who is passionate on that issue, you may get shut down in either direction. Either they'll only want to talk to you about defense issues, or they'll close up and hole up because they don't want to talk about it at all. So if you could make it a little bit more about engineering,
sure,
that would be excellent. Anyone else want to take a stab? Sure.
Yes. Last year I applied for the Congressional Fellowship Program
Yes.
with Martin Height, and I was selected to be in Washington, D.C. for a year and serve in the Congressional Fellowship Program. But the ASCE didn't have the budget last year. They didn't hire anybody. But this year I've applied again, and I might be working with you in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
So is that what you're going to tell people?
I'm gonna change the minds of the congressmen and
So
congresswomen.
what are you going to say? So give us your 1-minute example when you walk
When
into
you
the
walk
person's
into-
office. What are you
Introducing
going to
yourself.
say?
Name, where you live, work, just
Well,
What are you going to say?
as I walk in, first I'm gonna say that I don't know how many of you have seen the Hoover Dam, the movie National Geographic. How many of you seen that? National Geographic Hoover Dam.
I've been to Hoover Dam, yeah.
Okay, I arranged that through ASCE for the Hoover Dam to teach the society what it takes and what Hoover Dam did for America to create jobs and provide water. And to me is that, yes, as I said before, I will go to my congressional or my senator and say that we have a problem of water in California and we are wasting too much water into the ocean. Stormwater is sent to the ocean. Save the water and provide water for agriculture and for the society. That's what my point would be.
Sure. So I would then leave, your name, who you are, so that they know where you're from and have a geographic location. In the event, it's especially important to do that in the event that you're not from that person's district. It gives them a little bit of your local perspective and helps them understand where you're coming from. And then, you can give them some information on water and let them know your thoughts on that.
Well, Pat Bates knows me very well.
Excellent.
Yes,
That's even more helpful. Anyone else want to take a stab?
I think it's important. My name is MJ. I work for a water company in Los Angeles, and I live in Orange County, actually. So I think it's important for me, and I have done this in the past, is, just briefly who I am, but I'm not here to represent my company. I'm a volunteer representing American Society of Civil Engineers.
Absolutely, and that's why we recommend you identify with
Right.
a section or branch.
So basically saying American Society of Civil Engineers, 145,000 members internationally, 19,000 of those are in California. It's the oldest engineering society. We do a lot for, we've been referenced by presidents and, comics here and there, and you could reference those if you want to, but that, the reason we are here is because we care about infrastructure, and that's what we do, and then we could kind of go on sustainability, STEM. STEM seems to be a great winner. A lot of politicians, I have learned in the past that, there is that divide, but when you talk about STEM, that we could be a resource. I think what the message we want to pass would be, we are here as a resource. We are not politically driven. We are an engineering society, and we want to help, like what the senator said. We are here to support infrastructure for the state, and we care, and that's all we are pitching to them. So that really, a quick thing is what I would say, depending on how the situation goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to I'll get into situational meetings and how your approach might change in just a second. Would anybody else like to take a stab at introducing themselves? Jay?
I'm Jay Higgins, and I live in Burbank, so I'm in District. I'm a member of American Society of Civil Engineers in Metropolitan Los Angeles branch, and section, Los Angeles section. And one of the projects that I worked on, and this to me had some pretty innovative financing, and that was to create the Tehachapi East Afterbay, which was a storage and operational flexibility afterbay. It's actually a dam, but they don't call it a dam, on the California Aqueduct. And that whole project, which was $50 million, was paid for by pumping water over the Tehachapi Mountains during the evening hour when electricity was less expensive, and then generating power during the day. And that differential was enough to pay for a $50 billion project. So there are innovative ways to pay for our infrastructure.
Excellent. And, you know, giving them something like that, you know, will pique their interest, can start a conversation. And when you throw in dollar amounts like that, then they really start to think, well, gee, what are we spending on this? You know, let me go into this bill. Let me look at what is being appropriated. And is it an appropriate appropriation? Generally, when I reach out to congressional offices, if I'm working with their